Come on in. Y'all ready? Good? Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Finals at Riverside Secondary. This is the D block portion of the afternoon, so thank you for being here, and thank you for finding your seats. We're going to get going pretty quickly, but first of all, I want to make sure I can hear you, because you're going to need to support all the poets who are getting up and performing for you this afternoon, so make some noise for yourself. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up on a lovely Friday afternoon. Cool, very cool. So quickly, well, actually, I want to start off. We did it at the start of C Block, but since we've got a lot of new people in here too, to start off this performance, I want to just quickly and respectfully acknowledge that we are on the unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, and that is something to keep in mind throughout your day, throughout your activities, when interacting with your friends, and chat with your Indigenous friends as well to find out what that means and what reconciliation is all about, and it's that it's not a one-day process, it's an ongoing thing, and that we need to think about it in our daily lives. So keep that in mind, and do that, and talk to your family, talk to your teachers, talk to your friends about what reconciliation is about for you and for the school and for the local area as well. So a poetry slam. Who has not been to one? Put your hands up. If you have not been to a slam, Oh, so most of you have. Okay, well, a couple, that's great. So quickly, you already know mostly the rules. You've got poets who've written their own work. They're going to get up here and they're going to perform their material for you, the audience here at Riverside Secondary. And then they are going to be judged by judges and handed out scores for their performances. And that's a weird thing to do, but it seems to be a thing that people like. They like competitions. They like enjoying people getting up and sharing their deepest recesses of their hearts and souls and minds. And then we like to put numbers like on those performances and maybe crush their spirits. And we've got 4 judges to do that, 4 judges from your school. We have got Mr. Shafito, your principal. He's one of our judges. Mr. Almec, they're down there. Put your hands up so they know where you are. We have Mrs. Tate and Mrs. Leonard as well. Your judges are all down there. They are going to be judging the poems and the poets out of 5. 5 will be the highest score that they can give out. If you want to try to change their minds about their criteria as to what they think is good or bad, your job as an audience, twofold. First thing is to try to sway those judges. When they put up their scores, you can yell, higher, higher, we want higher scores. And since we're saying earlier that since we're in a cafeteria, try to sway them by shouting out the names of food products. Perhaps you will shout out something that they really enjoy to eat, and they will raise their scores even higher for the next poet. So those are options. And also, as an audience member, your job is to really support the poets that are getting up here on stage. Sometimes it can be kind of nerve-wracking to get up and share your words, maybe for the first time in front of your peers. And so it needs your support, needs your respect, and it needs your love. So give as much energy to the poets as you possibly can this late in the afternoon on a Friday. And as well, you're doing a great job right now. When the poets get up here, listen to what their words are and what they're doing. And if you want to react, a classic way to do so, if you like what you're hearing, is to snap, kind of snap your fingers. Ooh, that was really good. Or if you feel something coming up outside of you, go, yeah, it was great. Feel free to do that, because I think that's what Poetry Slam is part of that. It's an interactive thing, the audience and the performers doing that together. So we don't have a lot of time, so I'll quickly get into it. We're going to have a sacrificial poet, and that's going to be me. I've been asked to be a sacrificial poet. So to practice, the whole thing's about practice, the judges handing out scores to a performance, and you welcoming poets to the stage. So we're going to do that, and this is your practice chance. And then when the poets get up here, the other poets, you'll really give them a lot of enthusiasm, but we'll try it out to start. Please welcome to the stage your sacrificial poet, R.C. Weslowski. Hello, and thank you. Hi. Hi is a good response. I want to make sure you're awake. Hi. Okay, great. Okay, here we go. You see this microphone? It's a 21st century campfire, and all of us are sparks, waiting to be unhusked by incandescent haulers moving faster than the speed of profound. So let's breathe hot breath upon these embers. Let's kill loneliness together, shine a light on one another so we might recognize ourselves on the other side of the shimmering flume. Tell us of your arthritic rosary and your shattered kneecaps full of prayer. Sing us your dirty tantrum, your dance hall love song. Tell us the names of the places spoken in their mother tongues, the names of the places more than 150 years old, the names that wrestle English into submission and redraw the maps made by colonialism. Tell us the histories of the people in the photos on your refrigerator doors. Tell me about the first day you started loving yourself and the next day when you didn't stop. I really need to know why you still wear socks to bed and how you lost all your teeth. Teach us the fable of the coughing dog and the story of the one-eyed bat that lives in your heart and protects the bug-eating children of your trailer park. Because I swear to whatever mask that you pray to, with each breath that is taken, each word that is spoken, we push back against the assimilation machine. We push back against the prefab, bleached-out, white-bread god of monoculture. We push back against the shroud. And yeah, I know, I'm in it for me as much as I want it for you, because, I'm growing older. I might die soon. You never know. You really never know. And I've got a lot of regrets, but being here with you, trying to be as human as possible, is not one of them. And this is not one of those, hey, if I had my life to live over, I wouldn't change a thing kind of moments. No way, screw that. If I could, I would have come to this national park of communion a hell of a lot sooner. I would have warmed my heart on your fire years before. I would have fought harder against the stapling of my tongue to the roof of my mouth by every demon that ever abused me. I would not have wandered in this world as a ghost for so long. But enough of that. The past is the past. The clan, the fam, has gathered. So bring us your tattered cowbell and your broken flag of semaphore. This is a rescue mission. We need to free the frozen mermaid of your prairies. Reveal the secret world deep inside you. Pour some gasoline on this gosh darn spark and release your fire. Thank you. Thanks. All right, let's see what those judges think. This all, again, is your opportunity to practice trying to sway those judges, change their minds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Show us your scores. Oh, we have a 3.5. Oh, 3.5. We have a 5. We have a 5. And we have a 4. Applaud. No, applaud your poll. Why not? Not those silly scores. Cool. All right, so let's get a drum roll for your first poet in the competition in the second half for D Block at the Riverside Secondary Slam Finals. Put your hands together for Lauren Watson and their poem, My Evolution of Fear.
Let's start from the beginning with the monsters under your bed. You sleep with your eyes open, scared to move with the covers overhead. It takes you 5 times to check to assure yourself that they are gone, though now I ask you if they've left all along. Your little hands tremble as you reach over to turn on your source of security. Though as it lights up the room, it only shows your immaturity, because what child is afraid of the dark? If anyone found out, it'd be stuck to you like a birthmark. You were afraid of the bullies at school and maybe the spider snakes, ghosts in the deep end of the swimming pool. Now what can be scarier than that? Perhaps it's the uncertain places that your mind will go that I'm about to get at. The first stop we'll visit is the undenying railroad to success. Every time you'll go this way, your heart will beat in your ears, praying that it won't have to confess that it's reachless. That place between your bed and your nightlight has now become a crack in the foundation of a stressless place that you once called home. It's terrifying, the thought of failure being able to slip you straight through down to the catacombs, yet that still might be better than here, walking around with defeat engraved in my soul. I'd rather be amongst the empty faces that are facing me, because at least I won't have to hear their disappointment sounding so carefree. The monsters under your bed never left. They've just gone upstairs. They've claimed the front row seats to your failing affairs, popcorn in hand. The critics' words add oxygen to your fire and fear of disappointing. It's hard to ignore their debate on you joining. The countless novels of possible letdown wrote by yours truly have become the trailer to a new upcoming movie. The glorification of death spread on the big screen. Fear squeezes its way into your mind as if the entrance was a ravine. Alongside it carries a tombstone with your name engraved in the dark, cold concrete, and there lies a thin, straight line designating the end of a heartbeat. For the darkness has already swept you away, and it's too late to switch on your nightlight. However, this time it didn't bite. Fear leaves your thoughts yet once again, leaving you stage fright. Taking a deep, cold breath back to your living reality is like the knives that stab your eyes for all that they can't see. Progressing into the unknown, forthcoming is a blindfolded plank walk. You never know when you're about to suddenly drop. Water fills your lungs full of breaths of uncertainty, and recognizable places force you through the waves quarterly. Terror greets you at the surface with a life raft built out of everything you don't know, completely contradicting its purpose. All that has frightened you to no end will twist your mind until you comprehend that failure, disappointment, death, and the future will poison your life, being the ultimate polluter. You are bound to drown in an ocean filled with your fears, though keep your head above the water, because even your monsters evolve, my dear.
Thank you, Lauren. That's Lauren Watson, our first poet in D Block judges. Let's see what you think. 3, 2, 1. Show me your scores. We have 4 5s across the board. A 5, a 5, a 5. Congratulations to Lauren. Please welcome your next poet. Let's get a drum roll. Let's make some noise. Keep the energy going for David Andrews and their poem, Interruptions. Keep going. Make some noise for your next poet.
Thanks. Just making sure. I hate it when can I just say, I hate it so much. You never have that happen. You try to get the words out, but every time you try, someone starts speaking before you. Well, I'd like to say that every single day this happens to me, and I have to say, I hate it so much. Jeez, people, come on. Interruption. It happens to me so often, I prefer not to talk. I'm serious. It happens to me so often whenever I try to talk to my friends. This one random guy thinks that whatever I'm saying is so insignificant that apparently his words are the same as importance as the president saying he's going to war with Korea's Rocket Man and how he has to talk about his amazing new paintbrush-looking hairstyle. And I understand sometimes interrupting is okay, and it makes sense sometimes. For example, the first thing you should always do when you're interrupting someone is apologize. Say, for example, you're talking to your friend about last night's dinner and how you nearly burned down the whole place. When out of nowhere, this guy comes up and starts talking to your friend, and he tells him, hey, your car's being towed. You would say something along the lines of, sorry to interrupt, or, hey, I hate to do this, but ... right? Now, bear in mind, I understand how you feel, teachers. It happens all the time. And you're not the only one who gets pissed off whenever a student starts talking for a solid minute and you think, okay, he's got enough, but then you realize he keeps chattering anyways and you can't do anything about it, so sorry, not sorry about that one. I think interruption all started before when, shut your mouth! Anyways, I think it all started with video games, you know? That frustration of trying to reach an objective at the end of a game, but something stops you last second or an enemy kills you was always so annoying, you know? Now, do I act like this in real life with any of my other friends? Yes. As a matter of fact, did you know over 90% of people who are interrupted on a daily basis are sent to mental asylums because of their anger? Yeah. I mean, it's probably not true, but I definitely belong in there. Anyways, I hope you understand my hatred for... Really? You're gonna do that now? After everything I just explained to you? I trusted you. Well, thanks for listening to the small amount I bet you heard in the first place. And thank you to everyone else who knew how to shut up and listen for a solid 2 or 3 minutes. I guess the reality of it is that opinions are like mixtapes. Everybody has one, and I don't want to hear them.
That was David Andrews. Judges, let's see, 3, 2, 1. Let's get those scores up in the air. We have a 4, a 4, 5, a 4, and is that in the second one? 4? A 4. Okay, we've got the scores. Give your opponent another round of applause. Get that drum roll going. We've got a team piece now. Please welcome Ashley Fang and Nico Hung to the stage. And their poem, The Reality of Friendship. Make some noise.
This is a letter for you. Dear friend, to be honest, I don't like you when I first saw you.
I have tried to break the silence, yet still fail. Your reticence extinguished my passion.
I'm tired to talk to a person whose answers are always one word.
One syllable. We lived together. We shared one bedroom. But there was a boundless ocean between us. We could never reach each other.
But nothing is going to be changeless. One day of night, a sudden snowflake breaks the silence.
I walk along on the empty street. Darkness gradually enclosed.
The street's light faded in the heavy snow. Everything was obscure. I saw children waiting on the side of the street, and their parents came to pick them up. The snow ran into my shoes. I'm cold and lonely.
The only one I could think of is you. The only person I could call in this foreign country. I reached my cell phone, but I'm afraid to dial numbers because we never talk to each other. So I decided to send a text.
But I have a sense that you will come. As soon as the snow picks up and my hope sinks, as the latest light of my hope disappeared little by little, I suddenly saw a familiar figure emerge in white haze.
When the distance between us was only a few steps left, that unclear face revealed. That was you, my dear friend. After that night, I realized that friend is not just a word, it's more about action. Friend, it's not just a word, it's not just about knowing, but it's more understanding. Most of people might think the people who likes you, who pokes you on Facebook is the one who really cares about you.
Or the one who talks jokingly to you is the one bring joke to you.
But the reality is, most of them will just pretend to be your friend because of the benefit. Friend, it's not just a word.
Friend is the one who gives you rope to hold when you fall.
It's the one who's willing to jump through the hoop with you no matter what.
Friend is like a light buoy when you're swallowed by the whirlpool.
True friend is like a ladder. It helps you stand higher and see further.
True friend won't get jealousy by your success, but will push you to reach your dream.
True friend won't draw a hole on your boat to watch you drown,
but paddle with you to reach the shore.
Friendship is priceless. We can only earn it by heart. Although graduation is coming and the school year is close to ending, but only the friendship will keep remaining.
Don't forget to say thanks to your friend. Thanks them for making your high school life meaningful.
Thank you, my dear true friend.
Come on, give them a big round of applause. Friendship. That was Ashley and Nico. All right, judges. Give me some scores. 3, 2, 1. Up with your scores, please. We have a 4, a 4, a 4-5, and a 4-5. Come on, let those judges know what you think about that. That's it. Okay, that's all you think. All right, let a little drum roll, please. Tian Mao and their poem Stand Up is our next poet. Please welcome them to a stage.
Truck whistling by, bring out the cyclone. The wind is better, shaving the trees. The crowd so get scared, heading in their nest. I can't even keep up with the umbrella in my hand. The wind just brought all the arms of my umbrella, curving up. There's not even a single person passed by in this rainstorm. Only me seeking around, seeking for something that indicate you are here. I found nothing. Standing on the roof of the bus stop, hope there will be someone comes by, try to protect him from the downpour outside, greeting each other, have a quick conversation about how is your day. I found no one. I take my phone, check all the social medias. There's not even a single notification. The old message I just sent, the status is still unread. I found no replies. I sitting down on the bench, staring at the ants, climbing up on the trunk of the tree, diligently delivering their food, preparing for their supper. I'm nearly lost in this fast-paced but delicate world. I found nothing to do. And there seems a shadow approaching me. Wait a second. Is that you? I stand up, but you stood me up.
Oh, so a killer last line gets the crowd oohing and ahhing. Nice work, Tian. All right, judges, let's see what you think. 3, 2, 1. Now raise your scores, please. We have a 4, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4. Give your poet a round of applause. All right, we're going to get a little vegan education. Put your hands together, make a little drum roll for Susanna Rogan.
Yo, you're vegan? I could never do that. It's kind of extreme. I mean, where do you get your protein? Nuts, beans, tofu, seeds, lentils, quinoa, hemp, and peas are only a few sources of sustainable protein. And soy's my homeboy. I know what's in it. If only I could say the same for meat. So instead of meat, I get some plants and take a seat. No, but seriously, what do you eat? I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. I got berries like cherries. I got falafels and vegan waffles. I got berries like, fries and vegan pies, tofurkey instead of beef jerky, zucchinis and paninis, burritos and Fritos, guacamole and veggie ravioli, a bag of original Chex mixed with a bowl of Trix, and I still scream for that non-dairy ice cream. Okay, but aren't we omnivores and supposed to eat meat? Ain't that why I got these killer canine teeth? So, you really think your canines look like a bear's? Man, you can't even eat meat without proper cookware. How are you supposed to be an omnivore when they eat their meat straight off the animal, and you eat yours cooked with a fork and knife? Man, it's impalpable. But if you're so sure, let's take a trip to the store. Let's get some beef, chicken, or pork, and I'll watch you open it up and eat it raw right down to its core. Without seasoning or sauce, without a fork or a knife, and we'll see who's getting food poisoning tonight. And if you say, well, I eat meat because the cavemen did, where's your cave then? Stones and sticks and fire pits made of bricks, where's it at? Because all I see are houses made of money stacks. See, when it comes to cancer and diabetes, I'd rather get vegucated than get medicated.
Thank you, Susanna. Half the crowd was clapping, and half the other half you couldn't hear because they had meat in their hands. It's like, haha. I'm a vegan as well, so I appreciate that poem. All right, judges, let's see what you think. 3, 2, 1. Give me your scores. We have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4.5. Applaud your poet, Susanna Rogan. The next poem is entitled, It Was Freezing. It's by Haley Smith. Let's get a drum roll. Let's make some noise for Haley.
It was freezing, overwhelmed, confused. She opens the door of her house, exposing the world of bright lights contrasting with the night sky. Feeling the sharp winter air cut through her coat deep into her bones, an icy burn. As she takes a step through the front door of her house into the lawn of her grass, each crisp crunch is made with every step. She breathes, and a cloud is released into the night air. The warmth of the cloud shocks her numb nose. She tucks her bare and underdressed hands deep into her coat pockets. She walks on. She peers over her shoulder towards a home where a young boy stands staring in the window, watching, staring into the dark with curiosity, or maybe just catching his own reflection in the glass. Clueless to the constraints that he has once put on her. She can't go back, and she knows so she doesn't mind, for her mind may never thaw the ice water that burns through her veins now, for she's freezing cold. She moves on, walks on, one foot in front of the other, keeping her muscles safe from atrophy, from freezing still. Strolling towards the unknown, she stops. She stops before she passes another home, so serene it seems as though there was no one inside. She imagines her home must look like this to others too, a too simple, too symmetrical box of space perched neatly in the corner of her neighborhood. It's unsettling. The thoughts are unsettling, not black nor white, but somewhere in between, like a fogged gray. But clear, too clear. The more icy air she inhales, the safer she felt she got, the less lost she felt she became. She left as means to clear her mind, not to bring her clarity. She finds herself having run a complete circle. Standing on her doorstep, her skin colder than she ever thought possible, but her mind completely refreshed. Hesitant to open the door, hesitant to feel the warmth of her home's air brush her cheeks and sit heavy on her skin's surface again. Hesitant and scared to leave behind all that she revisited on her walk, for she knows too well that it does not live inside this house. But a lengthy while later, she reaches for the doorknob, so cold that it burns her skin, and she lets the door swing open. I'm home. Are we eating soon? I'm starved. I probably should have just grabbed a snack before I left, but my mistake. It was freezing outside. I swear my hands were literally frozen to the lining of my pockets, but I should have worn gloves. If I didn't know any better, I would say it's absolute freezing. It was freezing. No, it was perfect.
Thank you, Haley. Give Haley another round of applause. Well, you can do that. Judges, 3, 2, 1. I think that's just 4.5, and a 4. There we go. Applaud the poet, not the scores, judges. Thank you for remaining consistent, and I just want to give you, the audience, a good shout out for listening and supporting, with the snaps and all that sort of stuff. If anybody gets sort of stuck in the snaps, kind of helps them remind themselves and get back into it. Thank you for doing that, being a good crowd. All right, we've got another poet coming up. Of course, it is the Slam Finals. This poem is entitled The Meaning of Life. Please welcome Megan McGregor to the stage.
It is often said that the meaning of life is to help others. We hear this from the mouths of our fathers and our mothers, but the meaning of life is not quite so. If I were to tell you, here's how it would go. It is to live every day like it's your first. See the good in others, even at their worst. Remember that you only fail if there's nothing you can learn. Opportunity for growth is the best thing we can earn. And every single morning when you start your day, there's no wrong answer to the question, who am I going to be today? If the meaning in life is to find your gift, your purpose is to share it with the world. To find it may take years, but to share it truly takes a lifetime. But don't stress. Your age is just a number. Youth never dies if you don't let it. Remember to use the technology you have at your disposal, but never let it become a crutch. Always be sure you're present in the present, because Instagram only provides an instant gram of the happiness you can find if you look up from your phone. And when material lies materialize in front of your eyes, you can step back and realize the best things in life aren't purchased. Make new friends and sometimes have the courage to leave old ones. Find happiness within yourself and you will never truly feel alone. And yes, help others for the sake of helping others. Open your mind and heart to whoever needs love, but know that it is okay to cry and feel emotions. It is this that makes us human. It's okay, it's great to save the world, but sometimes you just need to save yourself. It's okay if you did one thing today, and it's okay if that one thing was just continuing to breathe. To hang on for one more day takes so much strength, believe me, I know. Remember, we are only human. We break, we learn, we adapt, and we grow, but we are only human. There is no one meaning to life. But as long as each and every one of us lives, we have so much to learn and so much to give. Let's take our time, enjoy our moments while they last, because before long, all of our time will have passed to find our meaning to life. Thank you.
That was Megan. Give Megan another round of applause. Yeah, come on. When they're done, give them another round of applause. Judges, let's see what you think about the meaning of life. We have a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 5. Applaud your bow and not the scores. And don't forget to stick around once they've got all the poets have performed. We've got the award ceremony to find out who's won the Riverside Slam final. So stick around for that after the performances. But we continue on with those performances. The poem is entitled "Violence is the Answer to Everything." Please welcome Fatima Yassine to the stage. Fatima!
It's funny how at a young age we're told, stop fighting with your siblings because it doesn't solve anything. And because it doesn't solve anything. And at some point in our lives, someone will tell us violence is never the answer. As soon as we get old enough to understand the world for ourselves, violence seems to be the only answer. Granted, countries are nowhere near the same as people, but they are run by people. People are killed, people are abused, people are sent to fight. Why don't world leaders sit and talk about their issues in order to find a reasonable solution? Why go through the trouble of building allies and fighting when in the end an agreement is inevitable? And I know that an agreement is only made after a side surrenders, but why do they surrender? Too many of their people have died. They lack manpower and money. The country is in an economical and political crisis. Why? Because they couldn't just come out and talk about the issue they were having. Now they have to deal with reconstruction, loan payments, development. It's not easy to recover from that. Yes, I also know that it's not always an issue that sparks a war. It can be power cravings. Again, why? Why are we deemed as better, stronger, after making millions of people suffer? And why are those people seen as minor casualties expected to give up their lives for a greater cause? Civil war is the worst. People that are supposed to be united going against each other in such a brutal, inhumane way. Power-hungry politicians versus rebellion-craving citizens versus people that just want a safe space to sleep at night. Why? Why can't the politicians that have been assigned to the country's people actually listen to the people? Why does it have to come to violence? Why are all world issues solved by violence? Fighting for equal rights, fighting for independence, fighting for democracy. Why couldn't people just understand that we deserved these rights before it came to that? Why weren't such beautiful and innocent voices heard before they used violence as a medium? Because that's the way the world works, honey. Okay, fair enough. All I ask is that we don't give children the promise of a world where violence is never the answer, where they can beat up their siblings all they want, raid each other's rooms, fight with opposing parents, not stop until one of them can't move, and make that same beaten down person responsible for all the chaos. A world where they can become uncontrollable and temperamental and spoiled. Because that's the kind of people we need to make a change in the world. That is the way the world works, isn't it?
Thank you, Fatima. Judges, 3, 2, 1. Scores, please. We've got 4, 4.5s, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Applaud your poet. Not the silly scores. All right, we've got a team piece coming up, please. And this is entitled Fake Friends. Please welcome Steph Obadia and Jenna Washishin to the stage. A team piece. Here we go.
Hey, how are you?
Oh God, it's her again. Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I haven't seen you since last week.
Oh, I should have taken the stairs. Oh my God, I know.
How was your weekend?
What should make you speed to leave this time? Oh, I had an English project.
Oh, because I texted you a couple times.
I know, I got all 50 of them. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I got them.
Oh, that's fine, no problem.
Well, I don't want to be late for class, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
She is so annoying. Fake
Fake
friends.
friends.
You know them?
I know them.
We all know them. They are there.
But they're not. Are
you really my friend from now to the end?
They say your friends stand behind you, but you never know who's holding the knife.
I'll always have your back, but will you always have mine?
Are you really my friend from now to the end? If friendship was the only thing I had for sale, would you even bother bringing your wallet?
Think of it this way. You have a boat. You're the captain. Your friends are on the boat keeping you afloat, but you never know who's not rowing.
Are you really my friend from now to the end? Everybody in your circle might not be in your corner.
They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer, but what if I can't tell the difference?
Are you really my friend from now to the end? You promised you wouldn't tell a soul. The next day it was front page news.
You put me down for what I believe in. If only you could taste the bitterness of my pain.
Are you really my friend from now to the end? I was once your number one. What happened?
Did you suddenly grow taller after you finished that one mean joke? Are you really my friend from now to the end?
I would hate the way sunlight came in through my curtains in the morning, because that would mean another day of you.
Another day of your mean jokes and your I'm just kidding at the end.
Are you really my friend from now to the end? I do everything to please you. When will it stop?
You keep pushing me, but I can't let you go. Are you really my friend from now to the end?
Why? Because you once promised me forever? You promised you would be that one friend I could go to when I felt there was no one else? You have me wondering just how far you'll go.
Venom spills from your mouth, but I can't see or hear it because it's behind my back.
Are you really my friend from now to the end?
Your words are the worst part because I'm not the same person I was. You want to know why?
Because your words have plastered themselves on my sleeve, my skin. They have seeped into my bloodstream like ink.
You think by now you'd grow, and just because I play it cool doesn't mean that I don't know. Hey, what's up? Hello?
Oh, hey.
How was your week?
You know what? No. No more wondering how my day was and not really caring. No more stabbing me in the back just to get a laugh out of it. No more tossing me aside when I don't have something you need. No more trying to sink my boat. No more making me feel guilty for succeeding at something. You weren't really my friend. Not from now, not till the end.
That was Steph and Jenna. Give them another round of applause. You can do it. You're doing a great job as an audience, I have to say, as well. And so are the judges. Judges, let's see what you think. 3, 2, 1. Let's see those scores, please. We have a 4.5, and then a 4, a 4, and a 4. Give that team piece another round of applause. Make some more noise for your next poet. Sama Salehi with Ode to My Mother. Please make some noise for your next poet all the way to the stage. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. My mother had no intentions of ever coming to Canada until she had to out of love. My father was leaving to help his brother immigrate to Turkey. My parents, knowing the dangers and risks, left. With $10 in their back pocket and leaving everything they called home behind, they were gone, without a whisper in the air. Every time I try to write poems to my mother, they turn to anthropologies of apologies. I still don't understand why I don't have the right language to speak to her.
It took my parents 2 days to get to Turkey, no passport given to them due to the Islamic Revolution, and my parents not being Muslim. This change of Iranian citizen to refugee had a bitter taste in their mouths. This change, still putting tears to my mother's eyes, this change causing death threats, rape threats, only ever being threats that came out of the mouth of Turkish soldiers pretending to help. I asked my mom if she regrets coming here. She hesitates, answering no under her breath as if she doesn't want to hear herself lying to me. She says, out of all things, I'm the best thing to happen to her. I can still see the pain in her eyes. Whenever my mom is on the phone with those back home, she locks herself in a room, making sure she's the only one in there. These phone calls always ending in tears. Every year, the sadness in my mother's eyes grows heavy. Whenever she's asked how long it's been since she's seen her mother, her brother, her sister, friends, and cousins too, it starts with a sigh, becomes a voice crack, and ends with, I'm just waiting for a good time to go. If only our plane tickets home could be paid with our American dream. Lately, I try to only respond to my mom in Farsi. You see, when I was younger, I had an accent so thick it would resemble to wool. My cousins always said my voice was warm. The older I got, the less Farsi I could remember. My mom says no regrets in my eyes, as if I can't see the pain in hers, whenever I'm unable to finish a sentence in Farsi without throwing an English word along. I fail to keep my native tongue in fear of being compared to suicide bombers overseas too often. It's easy to say I'm the whitest brown girl you know when I never show my heritage to the ones around me. It's difficult to show this heritage, the pride I have for my country and the love for its culture. It's hard, you know, mostly when the only reason is for acceptance, the acceptance of people in the same class, and the same people in my classes wishing for more bombs dropped on lands that are mothered by people who look just like my mama.
Thank you, Sama. All right, judges, you're doing a great job. I like what you're doing. I like how you're thinking. Let's see what you think this time around. 3, 2, 1. Give me your scores, please. We have 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 4. Give Sama another round of applause, please. And here we go, our next poet, Fraser Rostad, with his poem, How Are You? Let's make some noise for your next poet.
So in case you guys haven't noticed yet, I can't snap. So for those of you who can't snap like me, just go ahead and give me a golf clap when you like something I said. Even if you don't like it, go ahead anyway. Thank you very much. Hey, how are you? I want to send you something that's been on my mind while I try to find myself lost inside. See, I usually say I'm fine, but I lied. I'm dying inside. I'm feeling like life is cutting my hand quicker than it'd ever shake it. Like some quicksand, I'm sinking before I'll ever make it. I'm constantly losing my rhythm and losing my pace, and here life comes to slap my face. The lack of notifications on my phone remind me that I am alone. I put my phone on airplane mode because sometimes it's nice choosing to be alone. But quicker than ever, that plane lands because I always want to be available for who? My phone is like a fire. I'm getting so close, burning my knees and burning my toes. I know it's bad for me, but damn, it's so warm, and I kind of love that. But let's change the subject, the weather. How do you feel about the weather recently? Because quite frankly, I can't tell the difference between tears and rain anymore. I wish I could go back to the time. A friend and I jumped out of a freaking airplane, then we did that 5 more times. Every time we landed beside each other, we couldn't help but celebrate from our accomplishment. If only I had gone over to him when I could have and said, I'm sorry I can't make it to your funeral. I can't make it because I have a job that doesn't pay me enough for a plane ticket. I have a birthday party I'll have to wear a mask to. 2 essays, 2 tests. When I can't even write right. All I want is a piece. Do I even know? No. I'm trying to get my grades up, to get accepted into university, which, by the way, if you ever look up university makes me feel, I guarantee you the first 3 options on Google are going to be like a failure, suicidal, and stupid. All while I try to battle my processing disorder, dyslexia, ADHD. Is that a squirrel? I know I have an IEP, but that doesn't change me because when life gives me melons, no, lemons. I make melonade. The way I see it is I'm only walking with giants, trying to avoid their feet as they fall. So when you ask me how I am, all I can hear is a never-ending echo that only I can hear. The cloud that covers the sky to remind me that life isn't always sunshine. Hey, how are you? I'm fine.
That's Fraser. Come on, make some more noise for Fraser. Judges, 3, 2, 1. Show us those scores, please. We've got 4 5s, a 5, a 5, and a 5, and another 5. That's 4, I think. Thank you, Fraser. Let's continue. A little drum roll for our next poet. Expectations by Hannah Gino. Please welcome Hannah to the stage. Whichever one you like.
Expectations. Expectations will be the death of me. From the day that we are born, we are told what is expected of us. Conform, go to school, get good grades, to be the very best because there aren't any room for our fuck-ups. We put our fate in the hands of others, waiting to be judged, defining ourselves by our grades and numbers, forever believing that we will never be good enough because our actions don't match up with their expectations. We are expected to know what we want to do with the rest of our lives at just the age of 16, despite from up until that point we've had no real-life experiences. I mean, how could we? At what point were we ever given the opportunity? The opportunity to grow as individuals, to discover ourselves, and to live freely from scrutiny. Day one drilled into our heads that a happy life meant financial stability and that anything else was just a waste of time. The teachers will tell us that if we want to be successful, we need to go to college or university. And that although it might not make sense right now, it will all become clear to us once we've all graduated. The thought of my future scares me. It terrifies me. Can't sleep, can't eat for the reason my dark thoughts come to me at ungodly hours. The cause of my anxiety skyrocketing because I don't have a 5-year plan. Because I don't know where my life should lead. And for this, it makes me feel guilty. My biggest fear in life is to settle. I've seen far too many people give up and settle for a life full of regret, wishing they'd accomplished the things that they'd hoped. I don't want to live a life like that. Getting a 9-to-5 job, sitting at that desk, getting married by the age of 30, having kids by the age of 33, work, eat, sleep, repeat. The average 21st century daily routine to never venture outside of that cycle. No passion, no drive, no ambition, just machines whose motivation in life is money. And counting just how many zeros are at the end of our paycheck, striving for the one thing that we can't take to our grave. Now, please ask yourself, are you living or merely existing? Because I fear I know very little about the things that I should, like what the world looks like on the other side, or what it feels like to really be in love. Giving up now and settling would be giving up discovering who I am. I want to explore and learn. And if I don't get lost now and make my mistakes, what will I be learning? I may be wasting my time and nothing will come of this, but I can't knock it until I try it. And I'm sorry that I'll never be what you want me to be, but by doing that, I'm sacrificing my right to discover who I am. Despite how hard I try, I will never know what I'm going to do with my life, but the path you've chosen for me just isn't right. Life shouldn't be dictated by the degree or certificate that you hang on your wall, sat in that frame that you chose at just the age of 16. Now, the truth is, I say I have all this ambition. All these dreams for how I want to change the world, how I want to spread love and positivity. but I fear that I will soon be facing reality. I've surrendered. I've surrendered to the pressure of society, settling with this comfortable job, to the same routine, to the same cycle, to never know what it feels like to really be alive.
Thank you, Hannah. All right, judges. Let's see what you think. Did you meet your expectations? Does that hit home? 3, 2, 1. Show us your scores, please. We've got a 4.5. Oh, you're changing it? No, 4.5, a 4, a 4, and a 4.5. Give Hannah another round of applause. Please welcome Jay to the stage with My Father, My Dad, all the way to the stage. Make some noise for your next poet.
I think I look just like my dad. We've got the same eyes, green with hazily bits and brown bits, basil and barley and bay leaves mixed all together in a pot. I've got his small ears that most earbuds won't fit into comfortably. They always slip out. And don't even get me started on our clothes, because if I could, I'd take all of his giant band shirts and woolly plaid lumberjack jackets until all he had to wear were his baggy jeans and his tall tube socks. I think I'm just like my dad. We've got the same chicken scratch writing, barely legible, leaving my youngest sister with the neatest writing in the family, my dad and I as being tied for the messiest. And I've got his inability to stay sane without some kind of tune going on, whether it be in our heads or in our speakers. We both hate listening to silence. I've inherited his corny and sarcastically awful sense of humor, and I'm working my way up to his level of constant nonsense trivia. Even though I've only known him since I was 3 years old, he's been my dad since the day we met. It doesn't matter what my genetics say. I look nothing like my father. I've never met him, but I've seen countless pictures, even though our noses are the same and our hair has a similar texture. No matter what my mom or his uncle tell me, I look nothing like my father. I am nothing like my father. I've never spoken to him, but I've tried time and time again to have Facebook conversations with him. Though we both hate the word funner, and unfortunately he's passed on some not-so-nice genes to me, I am nothing like my father. Even though he's attempted to build a relationship with me, only to leave me on red after 2 days, every few months for 12 years of my life, I've been done with him since the day he stopped calling. My father will never be my dad, even though I called him daddy until I was 5, even though he mattered so much to me until I was 6, even though I would cry and cry because I would miss him so much. Daddy, why don't you call anymore? And Daddy, why did you leave? Daddy, do you still love me more? And was it me? Did I do something? But no, it wasn't poor little 3-year-old Jay's fault. The only thing I regret when it comes to my father is that he made me so sad for so long. He was never my dad. My dad is the guy who let me brush and braid his beard the first day I met him. My dad is the guy who I called dad on him and my mom's first date at the aquarium, causing my mom chronic embarrassment to the fish around us. My dad is the guy who took me to Amsterdam for my 16th birthday and took me to the Journey concert for my 15th. My dad is the guy who has hugged me and comforted me and supported me and been there for me for 14 years. My dad is the coolest guy I know. So contrary to the proverb that blood is thicker than water, the blood that I share with my father will always be thinner and weaker than the water that I share with my dad. Metaphorically speaking, I guess. Even though it doesn't say so on my birth certificate, my dad's name is Eden. Even though all of his co-workers say how much I look like him, he'll never tell them why that's a bit ironic. And even though I have to tell my doctors that my dad isn't my biological dad, I'll never call him my stepdad, because he's not. He never has been. He's always just been my dad.
Thank you, Jay. Judges, your turn. 3, 2, 1. Let's see those scores. We've got 4 5s, a 5, a 5, a 5, and a 5. Applaud your poet, Jay Wagoner. All right, we've got one more poet to go. Let's Keep the energy going for your final poet. Let's get a little drum roll. We know who they are. You might know who they are. Please welcome Ariana Zandi to the stage with Almost Love. All the way to the stage. Your next poet. Keep it going. Keep it going.
How do you learn this?
Almost love was the quiet footstep, the furious, desperate last kiss, the blurred face before the train doors shut as the ticking clock slowed, seconds unfolding into hours, hours into days, days into months. Almost love was the unspoken farewell as entangled limbs unraveled, the faint tick of a train ticket booking, the lingering I miss you slipping into the distance, but most of all, almost love was the ticking of the clock, the piercing, defiant tick throbbing in the back of our minds. Time had no pity on love. Time had no pity on us, so she spread her poisoned fingers and handed us almost instead. We were almost. We were almost a dream, the type of dream you could never wake up from. We were almost a song, the type of song you could listen to over and over and never get tired of. We had the love overflowing with things we could say with our eyes but not our mouths. We had the passion, so much that it was assumed we would graduate and marry and become the happiest out of everyone. We were never together but never apart, conjoined but separate. We saw the rise and the fall of our formative time together, hand in hand through a pair of gloves, but almost is where we stayed. Regardless, your dimples put dents in my spine, the touchable trace of a smile in your voice, the smile that hid the turmoil inside you so well. My skin stained with your touch. I was so far up in the sky, no plane could bring me down. We became stars, endlessly floating in space. But like all stars, we crashed and burned. Sometimes dreams are nightmares and songs are tasteless. Almost love. You're the could have been, might be, could be, should be. We hold our breath for almost love. It's beauty and it's tragedy. It's a word that signifies so much, that you could have done something, had someone. We almost chose to fight for us. Having something worth fighting for is beautiful until you realize nobody's holding up the sword anymore. You see, almost is a funny word. If I say it enough, it doesn't sound like one anymore. Almost, almost, almost. We almost didn't realize love alone wasn't enough. We were almost enough. Thanks.
Ariana Zandi. Judges, we know what the crowd thinks. Let's see what you think. 3, 2, 1. Let's see those scores. We've got a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 4.5. Applaud your poet, not the silly scores. And that is our final poet of the afternoon. Give yourselves a big round of applause for listening and doing a great job as an audience. And let's applaud all these poets for doing a lovely job. So we're just tabulating. We're going to hand out some prizes and awards for the poets here at the Slam Finals at Riverside Secondary. I wanted just to make a couple of quick things. If you're curious to any of the poets who are performed today too, that at Café de Soleil in Vancouver, on the 4th Monday of every month, we have what we call our Youth Poetry Slam. It's basically this, but at the cafe, and it's for poets 13 to 20 years of age. So if you're ever feeling like you want to make the trek out to Vancouver, or you can get a ride to Vancouver on the 4th Monday of each month, you can come check out the Vancouver Youth Poetry Slam at Café de Soleil. Also, there's an event called Hullabaloo. It is the Provincial Youth Poetry Slam Festival, or Youth Spoken Word Festival that has a poetry slam component. And so if you've been inspired today and you think your school should have a team that represents Riverside at Hullabaloo, talk to your English teachers and see if they can organize or help organize a student-led thing or whatnot to create a Riverside Slam team. Okay, so your turn. Come on over and make some announcements.
First of all, can we say thank you very much to RC for being our MC? RC for being our MC. Thanks for being such a great audience. If you are in or if you're in English this block, we're going to get you guys to stick around and help clean up. We need all these chairs stacked up and put in the back. If you're not in English, after we give the awards, then you are welcome to leave. If you're English, please stay. So, without further ado, in second place for grade 11 is Raph. Okay. And in first place, Bryn. And I think this is Riverside history. We have a three-way tie for grade 12. We have Lauren, Fraser, and Jay. Come on up. Woo! Congratulations. Okay, thank you. All right, can we have another round of applause for our winners? All right, English classes, please stay. Everybody else is welcome to be dismissed to their classrooms, please. To their classroom.
Can I get a picture of you?
Yeah, for sure. Performers, stay. Performers. Adrian, stay. Performers, stay. Performers need to stay. Performers, stay.